Hello everyone, so today we have new live stream. Just let me tune the stream so that I can understand what is happening here. I have to see how it works, and then we will start. Okay, so it looks like it is working now, so if it won't be working, just write in the chat and we will check what is wrong. But here, as you can see, we have Meng kit. I just discovered it in my collection. It is definitely not a fresh kit, but still it would be interesting to check it this evening, and maybe later tomorrow we will be checking some other models as well, but today whole review is dedicated to this Leopard A3 A4 version in 135 scale. So first of all, thank you for the 2 likes already. That's really cool that you are so fast and joined straight away. So this kit should be already available for some time. Maybe some of you already have it in your collection, maybe some of you already saw the video review, but still it is interesting for me to see what is hidden inside, because this is basically one of the kits with which Meng started to go into scale models, and that's why we are opening it now. So as you can see, overall box size is typical for this manufacturer, and we have quite nice box art. There is nothing to complain about. We have also short list of the features, so there are clear parts, there are track links, there are also 2 precision P threads, and all hatches can be open or closed, so that's really cool. And by the way, I can see, oh, Andreas has it. Well, I told you. So I can also see that it's more or less real-time translation. Maybe a bit slight delay is present, but it's not that bad. So here on this side we have also 2 markings of this tank. So as you can see, they look like this. I hope camera will focus right now. Well, it does not want to focus, so just give me a second. Now it should be visible. So here we have 2 marking options, and then on the other side we have other 2 versions. Actually, 1 version, as you can see, this one comes from Panzer Battalion mid-1980s, and we also have short history note here, which is written in English, and also we have the QR code. I guess this is a for kit info page. So this is a top opening box, and here is what we have inside. Packaging is quite tight. As you can see, there are a lot of sprues inside, and I think everything should arrive to you intact, because as you can see, my box was shipped in really rough conditions, and still everything is more or less alright. As you can see, parts are molded from this traditional green plastic, which is, I would say, typical for Meng, and we are going to start with this plastic sprue. So of course all plastic sprues are packed into the sealed plastic bags, so that's why I'm going to use the scissors, and that's why in the meantime we can discuss some extra stuff. So what I'm already, let's say, expecting to see is the new Lightning from Tamiya. As you know, it will be molded in 1/48 scale, so it should be quite cool kit to have, and I hope it will be released for a reasonable price. We have to see yet, but I mean, there is some hope, let's say. So here we have first plastic sprue. Again, just give me a second to focus. Maybe I'll switch up the ISO so that you can see more. Now it should be better. Yes. So what do we have here is the separate parts for various hatches on the turret. As you can see, molding quality is more or less nice, even though this kit came out really some time ago. But still it looks good, and this machine gun might be only one asking for replacement, but again it's matter of the personal taste, I would say. What is worth replacing is this ugly thing. As you can see, these are vinyl tracks and they're already bent, so it's not that cool, I would say. And if you have a chance to replace them with track links, with plastic track links, better to do it, because this thing will be tricky to straighten, and I just hate the vinyl tracks because they're really pain in some place to paint and weather. Next we have one piece part for the turret, so just give me a second to open it. Maybe I'll zoom out a bit so that you can see more. Okay, now it should be visible. Okay, so I'm going to cut through the plastic bag. So as I was saying, Tamiya is preparing new lighting. I think some of you already saw news. Tamiya Model Magazine Facebook page, they have nice photos of this kit, so if you would like to check it, go to their page, they should have it. Here, by the way, you can see the thread, which might be useful to replicate the towing cable, and also we have one piece top section of the turret. So as you can see, all hatches are molded separately here. We also have the separate front gun mask and separate rear section. Of course, there is no interior. And by the way, kit was released in 2013, so that's 6 years ago. Time flies, huh? I remember when I got this kit, I was happy that it was completely new and quite detailed for its price. But now, I mean, Meng has some other different kits. What do they produce now? Because, I mean, before every Meng premiere was really shocking, but now what they were going to do. I think it was the Sherman. So Sherman is not that, I would say, unusual release, and that's why I think some interest in Meng faded away. And while before we saw a lot of Meng models on the model exhibitions, now it's not that common model manufacturer, and it shows some trend in my opinion. So here we have hull parts. As you can see, these are two large parts because, I mean, the tank itself was quite big. So here you can see dry fitment, and it looks really good. I mean, even out of the box, as you can see, I'm dry fitting the parts and they fit nicely without any glue or using the plastic putty. And also here you can see that engine bay doors are molded separately. Here we have the separate hatch, and even though the periscopes are molded as clear parts, they will be inserted only in the slots, so they're not throughout. We also have the separate glacis plate, and of course all separate side elements, and of course suspension elements as well. These suspension arms and other stuff should be added separately. Okay. Next we have another plastic sprue. Here it is. So again, I'm going to use scissors. So tell me, how is weather in your place? Because here it's going to be raining whole week. It's been raining since Monday. It's been raining today as well. And I'm not that huge fan of such weather because, I mean, you can't do anything in the proper way, let's say. So here we have more parts for the turret. As you can see, these are actually the lower section of the turret. Also we have this tarpaulin, the front gun mask, and also rear section, which was molded separately, as you remember. Molding quality looks really good. I don't have any complaints here, and I hope that fitment will be also nice. But knowing the Meng kits, I think it won't be the problem as well, so there is nothing to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to pack it here. And next, what do we have here? Sprue with letter F. So I'm going to open it right now, and we are going to check it in a second. Just give me a moment. By the way, Andreas, if you are still watching this live stream, did you assemble this model, or you also have it just in your collection? And that's pretty much all, because I mean, I have how many? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 Mengs which are not assembled, not built, even though I was like, yeah, I'm going to build them as soon as I will buy them, but now they're just lying in collection and I don't know when I will be building them. So here we can see another plastic sprue. As you can see, we have here the suspension arms, so I guess the suspension system will be a bit movable, adjustable. We also have Pioneer tools for this tank, which will be placed outside, obviously. And molding quality seems to be fine. I don't see any possible issues. There is no flash on the parts. Even on the smallest ones, everything looks fine. So I don't think you have any issue in your kit. Next we have sprue with letter E. So just give me a second to open it. I can see that live stream cuts a bit. I'm not sure why. Maybe connection is not that fast because I'm using the wireless connection, so maybe it's better to use the wired connection. So here we have more of the external elements. As you can see, some parts are concerned with engine compartment. We also have here the special external elements. Everything looks good. I don't have any complaints here, so let's continue. Here we have suspension parts. So drive sprocket and idlers are included here, so I'm going to cut through this plastic bag and we will take a look. Okay. Just because these sprues are absolutely identical, I'm going to show you only one, because there is no point to showing them again and again. So here it is. You can see that, as I said, we have here the drive sprockets, which should be glued out of several parts, and also we have the idlers. With drive sprockets here we have not that cool feature that attachment point is placed between teeth. Thank you for the third like, by the way. So attachment point is between teeth, and that's why you have to be careful while separating this part, otherwise you can damage this teeth and then it will be tricky to fix all this stuff and have the nice result. And I know it happens sometimes, so there is nothing special, but it's not cool when manufacturer implements such design, in my opinion. Next we have quite big plastic bag, because here we have a lot of plastic sprues at once. Why? Because these are suspension parts. Here manufacturer included suspension arms as well as suspension wheels, and I will show you only one plastic sprue. By the way, here we have the vinyl polycaps which will be used for those wheels, so I guess they will be movable if you would like to have such feature on your model. But as for the plastic sprues, here you can see it. So here we have road wheels which are placed on two attachment points, and also we have those suspension arms which are molded as one-piece parts. So as I said, I think the whole assembly, suspension assembly, it will be movable, but we will see it in assembly manual. Even though I do not consider it as a great feature, because I mean, who needs the movable parts in the scale model? I've never seen any modeler who actually somehow displayed or used this feature on their build. Okay, so here we have another plastic sprue. This is a D sprue, so again we are cutting through it. And by the way, another interesting release, I think, not that I think, I was talking with Special Hobby. Special Hobby going to present the new version of the Zeeble on the E-Day, so I guess this year's E-Day going to be really rich on various premieres. So stay tuned, and if you have a chance to visit E-Day, I really recommend it, because there will be a lot of amazing stuff. So here we have side skirts. We also have some parts for external detailing. I think this is a glacis plate, or maybe that's a rear part actually, for the hull. And again, on the hull you can see that we have some attachment points for the external elements. And if we flip over this sprue here, we can see that there is nothing interesting, because this is not an interior kit, so that's why there is no interior detailing as well. Okay, next we have this plastic bag. Again, bunch of plastic sprues, and that's actually the solution to the problem which we saw in the beginning. I mean the vinyl tracks, because plastic parts should be easier to assemble. Well, easier, because you have to spend some time gluing all those parts together. It might be a bit tedious procedure, but it will be a better looking result, which is easier to paint, easier to weather. So it will be your choice whether you would like to use these parts or maybe this ugly thing, which is, as you can see, can't even lay flat on the table. Okay, so these were the trucks, and as far as I can see, there is no template or assembly jig for the tracks. you have to do it with your own hands. That's not cool in my opinion. Next we have sprue with letter H. I'm going to cut through the plastic bag once again. Just give me a second. Okay, here we are. Here the most notable parts are those thin handles. Even though they might look thick for some modelers, I think they are more or less enough for out of the box build. And still you have to use tweezers, because as you can see it's really tricky to handle these parts with fingers, at least with my fingers for sure. So keep it in mind and have the right tools ready for assembly. By the way, I can see that YouTube suggests as a next video Mini-Art M3 Lee review. I don't know how it is in your case, but if you have a suggestion for the Mini-Art kit as well, I recommend to watch it, because this Mini-Art kit turned out to be a really nice model, and there are a lot of versions coming, and I recommend to check it because it's a really amazing detailed M3 in 1/35 scale. Here we have another disappointment in this kit, because main barrel will be glued out of 2 halves. That's not cool in 1/35 scale, even though we can make a small discount, keeping in mind that this is a 2013 kit. That's why we have this 2-piece assembly. And as far as I can see, there are some guiding elements inside. Well, something will help you to get the right fitment between those parts. Okay, or maybe you can find some aftermarket barrel. I think RB model makes it for sure, so you can get it and install it on your tank. Here we have first clear plastic sprue, well, one and only clear plastic sprue. I'm going to open it in a second. As usual, sorry, as usual it is packed into the separate plastic bag and also wrapped into the special film, so it will protect the clear parts for sure. And here you can see that everything looks nice. I don't have any issues with these parts, and as you remember, all periscopes, all headlamps and tail lights will be replicated with clear parts. The only thing is that there are no masks included, so you have to cut it with your own hands, and it might be a bit tedious process as well. But if you are brave enough to start such tank, I think it won't be a problem for you. Next we have here the small P thread. As you remember, it will be used for fine detailing of this kit. Maybe camera will finally focus on it and we will see it. But now camera does not want to focus on it, so just give me a second. That's a tricky autofocus. Now you should be able to see it. So as you can see, you have to bend some elements. And these are again quite small parts. So again, be ready for this. Next we have small plastic bag. So here we have decals. Just give me a second to open them. It is not that big, even though there are 3 marking options included, but I guess we have here all necessary symbols, and also it is printed by cartograph, so printing quality should be more or less nice. As you can see, here we have various number plates, license plates, and external symbols as well. Okay, and next we have marking guide for this tank. I should lift it here. So we have first marking option here. I'm going to zoom out a bit so that you can see it. So here we have first marking option, then we have other 2 marking options, and then inside we have 4th marking option and also paints chart here. So that's cool that they decided to print it in color. You won't have to play some guesswork trying to understand which color you should use here or there. And last but not the least, oh, we have one more bonus. Here we have small P thread, so it's not the last. As you can see, all meshes on the engine bay will be replicated with help of P. Thank you for the 4th like, by the way. So that's really cool that they decided to include meshes as well. But as I said, the last but not the least is this assembly manual, which is printed in color. And traditionally for Meng, on the first page we have short history note. That's really cool because some modders would like to know more, and there are ways to search for some reference guides. So here we have some information provided, and if you read it carefully you would know a bit more about this famous tank. And as you can see, it is provided in several languages, even in Russian, so it should be easy to understand. Next, here we have the choice between marking options. I guess there are some assembly options which will be dependent on the marking option you choose. Everything starts with the lower hull section. Next, we continue with suspension parts and also installation of P parts straight away. That's quite interesting. No, those are not P parts, those are parts for the engine bay. And here we continue with various elements of the frontal section. Then here we join together the top hull section, rear wall, and also lower hull section. Be ready to install all the Pioneer tools here. Next we continue with attaching hull parts, various minor P parts. As you remember, you have to bend them in order to install into the place. Here again we continue detailing of the hull, the towing cable, and here we will be gluing the system, so the sighting system assembly. Main gun, as you remember, is glued out of two hulls. Well, at least the muzzle is molded as one piece part. Next we start turret assembly. So it is also quite complex process. Be ready for this, especially with those thin handles and protection bars. Here we have the smoke dischargers for the right and left stations. Here we install the external equipment for the turret. Next we install the smoke dischargers. Here we install the loader's hatch. As you can see, it is also quite complex assembly. Next one is commander's hatch. Then we install the turret into the place. And of course the parts map is on the last page of this manual. Next, on the last page we have just the Meng sign and the tank silhouette. So overall this kit looks like still looks like a nice assembly option, I would say. So if you are not sure what to build and maybe you don't want to build the fresh Sherman from the Meng, maybe this one will be more interesting for you because it copies such unusual German tank. As far as I know, there are not that many kits in 1/35 scale which actually copy this tank, so if you don't have this kit in your collection, definitely get it if you have a chance to buy it for a good price. And I would like to thank you for joining this live stream because it's quite a late time, but still you decided to join me. Of course, write your opinion here in the comment section below. If you like this video and you would like to support us, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye.